be the first time Lonnie White and Rukia Garbo will be old enough to vote in the presidential election. And just the second time Malik Poole and Mosin Shora will cast a presidential ballot. None are planning to vote for Joe Biden or Donald Trump.
If I were to vote tomorrow, I wouldn't vote, period.
Ideally, I would like to vote third party.
I will vote for an independent candidate.
I'm considering either voting for Claudia de la Cruz or Cornel West at this point. If there is no substantive policy change when it comes to the genocide in Gaza, then there's not really a discussion for me.
When we met at this barbecue restaurant in Atlanta, all four told me they were raised and originally registered as Democrats. But this year, the president's handling of the Israel-Gaza war has turned them away.
I think what Biden has done in aiding and abetting in a genocide is just something I cannot stand for.
You're willing to withhold your vote in the presidential election unless there is a ceasefire.
Yes.
And it's implemented.
Yes.
Not voting could mean Donald Trump gets into office. Do you think he'll be better on Gaza?
Trump would probably say flatten Gaza and make it into a golf course. I have absolutely no faith in him.
Would you not say that also the people who are not voting for one of the two people who are the likely people to really be in this race have a role to play in kind of giving the race to Donald Trump in a state like Georgia where it's going to be like razor thin?
Yeah, no, I'll do you one better, actually. I think that just means that's why the Democrats should listen.
Exactly.
Radical and more tapped in than their peers is how the group describes themselves. Rukia even helping to organize this demonstration in Atlanta last October, calling for peace and aid for the Palestinian people. While they don't speak for the majority of Black voters, their dissent poses a real concern for Democrats in battleground states like Georgia, where Biden won by fewer than 12,000 votes. Black voters under age 30 made up only about 6% of voters in Georgia in 2020. That group voted for Joe Biden by more than 50 points.
We are holding their election in the palm of our hands, and they're not listening.
We're tired of just hearing him say these things, these empty promises. We have no trust in Joe Biden.
The Republican Party isn't earning their vote either.
Both sides are just equal, all. Nothing is being done for us.
If enough people vote third party, we can win. That's my thoughts.
President Biden's campaign has touted his success on key issues affecting young voters, including student loan forgiveness, lowering unemployment, and tackling inflation. Still, though,
I don't feel it. People may be employed, but can they survive off of it?
The federal minimum wage has stayed the same since 2009. I was 5 in 2009. I'm 20 years old now. Right? I work at Goodwill now for $12 an hour. and cost of living keeps increasing, especially here.
What could President Biden do to change your mind as far as how you'll vote in November?
Call for a permanent ceasefire and actually implement it.
I would like us to stop giving aid to Israel.
If he doesn't get elected, that is his fault. That's not our fault. That's not the Black voters here. That's not X, Y, and Z. No, it's on him.
This is a based cable news focus panel. And this, you can hear in how they speak, the words that they choose to use, you can hear that they're very well read or very well knowledgeable on topics. This is why the hatred for TikTok. TikTok is educating, peer-to-peers are educating each other. Similar to like Eddie is pretty viral on, a lot of people don't know that on Twitter, like he's a viral guy on TikTok. Eddie from the Midwestern Marx Institute. But yeah, so I'm gonna play it again, just point out a couple of things I thought were pivotal, but it just illustrates a few things that these young people are knowledgeable. In the way that they speak about politics, they are knowledgeable on these topics, at least these ones that are here, and how power works. They're not being duped by the "but Trump" thing. They're not falling for that booby trap. So, and this is where the hatred, you have a younger population that is being, actually, let me say it this way. You have the government that's being unmasked by a younger population, and that unmasking is largely socialized in public through TikTok. I can't remember the survey, so don't quote me on it. Just that young people are I can't remember who they were, but the young people, the group that we're talking about, gets their news, the number one place they get their news. Not all of them, but like if they listed the places, this is the one that got the top spot, was TikTok. And what I'm loving about this also, and that's what you see scrolling across the screen, we have a show called the Post-Duopoly show. And what we're hearing in these young people are post-duopoly people because they understand what's going on. This is beautiful to me. So I'm going to play this again. And as there's probably like 3 or 4 points, I want to stop just to make a point of how, anyway, I'll make the point when it comes up.
This November will be the first time Lonnie White and Rokia Garbo will be old enough to vote in the presidential election. And just the second time Malik Poole and Mosin Shora will cast a presidential ballot. None are planning to vote for Joe Biden or Donald Trump.
If I were to vote tomorrow, I wouldn't vote, period.
Ideally, I would like to vote third party.
I will vote for an independent candidate.
I'm considering either voting for Claudia de la Cruz or Cornel West at this point. If there is no substantive policy change when it comes to the genocide in Gaza, then there's not really a discussion for me.
That part is like the entry for a discussion for me to vote for you, for a discussion for me to vote for you. The entry, the admission is a policy change. Substantial, let me say it that way, that because the other word is very hard for me to say. A substantial policy change. Not no fringe bullshit, no around the edges. None of that. And the way he pronounces Gaza, which sounds, he is attempting to give respect by giving the name in the word, it's indigenous, the way you speak it indigenously. So I love that about it. And to me, that tells me he is well read enough or well knowledgeable enough where he have seen or heard the word pronounced by the people from Palestine in a particular way, and that's what he's mimicking. So that's what tells me that they're not just regular people. So this is very surprising that CNN, now they get people like this all the time. They just don't air them. It's surprising. Now, if they've gotten here, do you understand the shift that has happened? If CNN is at a place, and there's another CNN segment where they have an investigation about the flower massacre, and they say Israel's lying. So if CNN and other cable outlets are at a place where they are now allowing things that you and I, as radicals and non-establishment people, would be saying phrases, that's mind-blowing, but it shows the power of the persistent pro-Palestinian protests around the world. It's literally daily. It's literally calls out daily. It's literally people like Nancy Pelosi, even Joe Biden and Barack Obama getting called out, getting protested on. It is a shift. But what I don't want people to miss and understand, this is history. This is showing you the power of a movement. You're seeing it real time, and we need to recognize that that's what we're seeing in real time. We're seeing a movement out in the street, a pressure movement, a disrupt movement, a direct action movement. And remember what it was like October 8th? Remember what Nick and I said? Cable news was unwatchable. It was unwatchable. October 7th, 8th, 9th, unwatchable. I couldn't even watch it. That's how far they were on the genocider side. Pro-Israel, let's do this, let's do that. And you better not be saying anything else. And that was all it was, wall to wall. to where we are today. That's the power of a movement. I wish people would understand, or not understand, because I think they understand. I wish people would invest small amounts of their time or whatever they can give to something local to push. Get involved in something. If you're not a person that's non-confrontational, so you're not really a protest person, that means you can be a person that drops off diapers to a women's shelter. That means you're a person that could drop off toiletries to a unhoused person. Everybody has a role. Remember that. All right, so I'm ranting. Let's get back to this this video. Let's go to the next point. So we stopped at point 1. I think there's 2 or 3 more.
When we met at this barbecue restaurant in Atlanta, all 4 told me they were raised and originally registered as Democrats. But
based. So this is what Dem exit looks like. And I must say, it does my heart well that they all appear to be Black or indigenous or something. It gives me hope. You know, when I listen to, now I'm gonna go off on a tangent. Like when I listen to some of this music, it puts me down. I'm like, oh God, what are these people saying? And this, I thought my neck and my back was bad, and now what they're saying in some of this music, I was like, I was losing faith. But when I see this shit here, I'm like, this is it. This is what RBN wants to be in community with. These types of people. People who say, look, bro, I get all your Trump is bad shit. We're talking about a genocide. These are the people who would have stood up in the 1700s for Black people. These are the people that would have stood up in Ireland for the Irish people. These are the people that would stand up. Whatever you're doing now is what you would do, and see what they're doing. Anyway, let's get back to the video. I'm on a ranty mood right now.
But this year, the president's handling of the Israel-Gaza war has turned them away.
I think what Biden has done in aiding and abetting a genocide is just something I cannot stand for.
You're willing to withhold your vote in the presidential election unless there is a ceasefire.
Yes.
And it's implemented.
Yes.
Not voting could mean Donald Trump gets into office.
Did you hear what they said there? And if you didn't catch it, and it's implemented. None of that ceasefire is coming in 6 weeks. None of that bullshit. You know what I mean? Like ceasefire, but it's going to happen after the election. But I promise you, like what they're doing right now with student loan debt, they're about to do another one, and that shit is going to be taken to the bank at the courts. And they're also fooling young people with abortion. What can the Democrats do if you vote them in? What? What can they do about abortion rights? They don't have 60 senators. What can they do? That's why if you listen to Bernie Sanders, and I'm going to play a video later and you're going to see this, he says quite clearly things like, if you believe in climate change, vote for Joe Biden. Not if you want something done in climate change because Joe Biden's going to do something, vote for Joe Biden. He don't say that. If you just simply believe in the concept, because then he says Trump doesn't even believe in the concept. Now, let me ask you this question. I'm in a ranty mood. I already told you. Let me ask you this question. What's the difference between a person who believes in something but doesn't have a strategy to get it and a person who doesn't believe in something? What's the tangible difference? Nothing, right? Let's finish out this video so we can move along here.
Office. Do you think he'll be better on Gaza?
Trump would probably say flatten Gaza and make it into a golf course. I have absolutely no faith in him.
Would you not?
You hear that? She's trying to scare. Wait, you think Trump is going to be better? No. Trump is not the current one in power doing the genocide. Trump is going to do the same thing. I'm not voting for him either. We don't vote for genociders. Is that hard to believe? We need that on the shirt. I don't vote for genociders. We need that on the shirt. Somebody take note. Zoya or Aaron, if you're watching. Not to do it, but just to simply take note, please.
Not say that also the people who are not voting for one of the two people who are the likely people.
Now listen to this circular bullshit she tried to say right here that they don't fall for. You see what I mean? Like, this shit is so base because they're not falling for none of this. None of these traps that every other social democrat buffoon they bring on always start stumbling over their words. Yeah, well, Marianne Williamson. Watch she endorse Joe Biden. If at all. Let's continue.
To really be in this race, have a role to play in kind of giving.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was meant to rewind it so you can hear this nonsense, the circular bullshit she tries to trick them on right here. Listen to this.
Would you not say that also the people who are not voting for one of the two people who are the likely people to really be in this race have a role to play in kind of giving the race to Donald Trump?
This idea that everybody's on your team, that the top goal is to make sure Donald Trump doesn't get in office, it's not everybody's top goal. It's not everybody's top goal. That's your goal. Don't put your goals and achievements on me. It's our goal not to support either party because they're both genociders. That's it. So whether staying home, whether you're voting third party, you heard mention I love. And is there another reason why you know they're these are smarter people. These young people are very smart because typically, what is the third party name you hear? Jill Stein, Cornel West. Who did you hear? Claudia De La Cruz. Let's continue. These four right here are not to be messed with, and you can hear it in their answers, their responses.
In a state like Georgia, where it's going to be like razor thin?
Yeah, no, I'll do you one better, actually. I think that just means that's why the Democrats should listen.
That's how democracy is supposed to work. He's saying the people who's supposed to change in a representative democracy is the representative. The representative doesn't tell the masses what to do.
Exactly.
Radical and more tapped in than their peers is how the group describes themselves. Rokia even helping to organize this demonstration in Atlanta last October, calling for peace and aid for the Palestinian people. While they don't speak for the majority of Black voters, their dissent poses a real concern for Democrats in battleground states like Georgia, where Biden won by fewer than 12,000 votes. Black voters under age 30 made up only about 6%.
I don't know why they really think they're going to win Georgia. That was a fluke. That you're not going to win Georgia.
Percent of voters in Georgia in 2020. That group voted for Joe Biden by more than 50 points.
We are holding their election in the palm of our hands, and they're not listening.
We're tired of just hearing him say these things, these empty promises. We have no trust in Joe Biden.
The Republican.
Woo! We have no trust in Joe Biden. Man, if it wasn't seasonal, I would put that on a shirt, but that's going to be out of style, so don't want to put that on a shirt. This clip is all viral in our community. This is a viral clip in our community. I guarantee you everybody covers it. I guarantee you everybody covers this clip. It was from beginning to end based. But again, the very fact that the editing room is allowing this to get in to be aired means there's enough and a bigger audience than the people who would be against it. If you look at the polls, more than it's creeping up to 60% of the American population. I think the last poll I saw was 56 or 57%. That's the last one I saw. There might be another one that has a higher number that I haven't seen yet. Last one I saw, which maybe 3 or 4 days ago, it was somewhere around there.
Party isn't earning their vote either.
Both sides are just equal. All. Nothing is being done for us.
If enough people vote third party, we can win. That's my thoughts.
President Biden's campaign has touted his success on key issues affecting young voters, including student loan forgiveness, lowering unemployment, and tackling inflation. Still, though,
I don't feel it. People may be employed.
I think this last student loan forgiveness plan that could fall apart after the election, just like the last one, is something like on Fox News, I said somewhere around estimates 100 and some odd billion. I don't want to give a wrong number since I don't remember. But it's a high, like mid to high hundreds of billion, 100 billion. So it's like 150, 175 billion, something like that will be canceled. Possibly is how they phrased it. There's 1.77 trillion of student loan debt. So you understand, think about how much of that is being canceled. Let's take the high number, 175 billion. There's 1.77 trillion of student loan debt. So crumbs.
But can they survive off of it?
The federal minimum wage.
Oh, and this is like a little montage of them saying some other stuff. So they're going to show what Joe Biden is touting, and then they're going to give what their responses are. And it's like, these people are tuned in because they're not giving they're giving very direct information, well thought out answers.
Issues affecting young voters, including student loan forgiveness, lowering unemployment, and tackling inflation. Still, though,
I don't feel it. People may be employed, but can they survive off of it?
Woo! 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 That's the point that I always make with my analogy. With my analogy of when they say, oh, black unemployment is very low. You know when black unemployment was the best? Slavery. Isn't that great? That's when black unemployment was the best. So how the fuck does that tell us employment rate, how the economics of people are doing? It does not. Because like this young lady has pointed out, if I have a job, I'm employed, so the rate is down, but can I pay my bills? Somebody said maybe they watch RBN. Maybe. Who said that? Oh, you got a pretty poppin' name too. Bling Girl. Maybe they watch RBN. That would have been dope that they shouted out our, oh yeah, what's up? Nick from RBN told us. That would have been dope. But yeah, let's continue. It's about 33 seconds left.
The federal minimum wage has stayed the same since 2009. I was 5 in 2009. I'm 20 years old now. Right? I work at Goodwill now for $12 an hour. and cost of living keeps increasing, especially here.
What could President Biden do to change your mind as far as how you'll vote in November?
Call for permanent ceasefire and actually implement it.
The implemented part. They're not falling for you just saying words, and then after election, you have to plan it for, oh, yeah, I'm calling for it right now. Like, this is what they're probably going to try to do. October surprise, ceasefire. But it's going to start November, when is the election? November 5th? November 7th. That type shit. So they're saying implement it.
I would like us to stop giving aid to Israel.
That's her hurdle. You have to stop giving aid to Israel to get my vote. You get what I'm saying? These aren't no flimsy things. These are things that are policy changes.
If he doesn't get elected, that is his fault. That's not our fault. That's not the black voters here. That's not X, Y, and Z. No, it's on him.
That last part, that's the coup d'etat. It's on him. It ain't on us. So ain't no shaming over here, peoples. These young folks, this make you feel proud of young folks. And I have this video here because I played it either yesterday or the day before, whenever I went live. And in the video, this young lady here speaks about the Israel-Palestine, the massacre or the genocide of Palestine by Israel is not just a 2014, we disagree. This is you're going to be losing people for a generation if you're doing this. And you heard it in that based focus group. They're losing people for a generation. And she made the point here. Let's listen again.
So let me just be blunt. The headline here is that Biden is so racist against Arabs, he would rather fund a genocide than win re-election. Is that on the people to fix? Furthermore, If he is so racist against Arabs that he's willing to commit a genocide and nothing being said or done moves him in any direction, what makes you all think he's going to save you from jack shit?
That's a very important point. If people are pleading and begging him to stop the killing of babies and mothers, and they're just, whatever. We are literally we've already reached unofficially over 100,000 people dead. The official numbers, I think Nick said 40,000 was the last one I think we looked up. I can't remember the official. I believe it was 40,000. And there's no change. We just had Lloyd Austin in a hearing say, there's no evidence there's a genocide. But it's curious how it's asked. He said, and it's Tom Cotton asking him, so Lloyd, Austin, what do you think about, is Israel committing a genocide? He doesn't say yes or no. He's very smart. Because later on, it's going to be called a genocide. And he knows that. He says, we haven't seen any evidence of that. Then he asks him again, so that means they didn't do it, right? Then he says, we haven't seen any evidence of that. That's how you know you're a genocider, but you can't be proud about it, and you can't come out and, I'm proud to be a genocider, because people would not respond well. So you have to act like you don't see dead babies and dead mothers. I don't see them.
Because I genuinely don't get it. I genuinely don't get the cognitive dissonance you.
I'm sorry. The point I was going to make was that she was saying if they won't be moved by protests, you talking about worldwide protests, over 500,000 people have protested worldwide. Disruption after disruption, poll numbers. Why do you think they're going to give you abortion? Why are you falling for the trap of this vote for me because abortion? What are you going to get me? What are you going to tangibly get if we vote for you? Well, if you get me 60 cents, how are we going to do that, sir? You don't have 60 good senators. You see what I mean? Like, don't fall for it. But anyway, let's let her finish out this part.
Will have to still believe in any of this. Frankly, the greatest threat to Democrats, which I've been saying for almost a year now, is not that people are going to vote for Trump. It's that people are not going to vote at all because they do not fucking believe in any of it anymore. Studies have shown time and time again that public will means nothing legislatively. That the greatest indication a law is going to pass is the money that is behind it. What you say or do, is it moving the needle? And if it's not moving the needle, if electoral politics isn't doing shit, why would people continue to invest in that system? People are literally begging the carnage to stop. And this administration is literally ignoring them. I said a long time ago that if you wanted to save the party, because now it's a matter of not just saving Biden, because it's done. Now it's a matter of whether or not the Democrats exist beyond this election. If you want to save that, you connect with people. You stand by the people of the party rather than its figureheads. But thus far, none of you demonstrated any of that. And I've said this for months, which means that what Biden's doing is not just going to tank his reelection chances. It's going to sink the entire party.
Is that what we're seeing here? You saw an illustration, an expression, a manifestation of that in that panel, in this base focus group panel. Oh, we were Democrats, but we exited that shit a long time ago. Because you remember in the segment, they said they all were registered Democrats at a point. Not no more. And the point in this video is being made through that manifestation of the focus group that they're losing people for a generation.
And people's unwillingness to critique him or to criticize him or to just repeat never Trump all the fucking time is not only not winning people over.
And that's another thing she points out here. That Trump bullshit, that's not going to work no more. The scary Trump guy, that's no. Give me something else.
It is showing the rot that is fundamental to Democrats.
I interrupted her point. Let me make sure she gets it out about the Trump part.
Of that. I've said this for months, which means that what Biden's doing is not just going to tank his reelection chances. It's going to sink the entire party. And people's unwillingness to critique him or to criticize him or to just repeat never Trump all the fucking time is not only not winning people over, it is showing the rot that is fundamental to Democrats. And frankly, and fundamentally, Trump is the best thing that has ever happened to the Democratic Party because it means that they don't have to try anymore and you'll still stand there looking like a rube. None of you are actually voting for the lesser of two evils. You just became the evil.
Ooh, you feel that one, and what does Country Wayne say?
So let me
That's
just
sizzle
be
in your
blunt.
spirit.
The headline here is
There's no lesser of two evil when you're choosing between a genocider. This is why we say we've reached the climax of lesser of two evil. There is no worse than this. Do you understand? There is no worse. You are deciding between two genociders based. Post-Duopoly is the future. Post-Duopoly is the future. Break the chains of these party registrations and break the chains and be free.